Walmart's anti-theft technology creates a new set of problems. Yeah. You know how self-checkout has become the main way that we get through the grocery store? At least I do. I don't want to wait for this enormous line. And if I have a huge load of groceries, yeah, I'll go to where there is somebody. But what Walmart is doing is they are shutting down your lane if they think you're stealing from them. Maybe you just didn't get something scanned. Who knows? You're not a grocery store employee, right? Shouldn't be your job to scan all this stuff, but it is. And if you screw up, it's on you. That is causing some problems. People are pissed off. Let's get into it. Here we go. Nobody likes being accused of theft. I certainly don't, especially not at Walmart, right? Hey, are you stealing that, Mr. Reynolds? No, couldn't get the damn scanner to work, right? That includes people who are actually thieves, but their feelings aren't all that important since they're actually stealing. Agreed, 100% agreed. If you're stealing, don't really give a crap about you. You belong in jail, but we're not putting you in jail, are we? Nah, because everything's a misdemeanor now. The problem, and it's a big one, is that many of the ways retailers fight theft make honest customers feel like criminals. You ever push that cart out the door and you get outside to your car and you're loading stuff in, and then you look at the bottom of your cart, you can now see through your cart, and you look at the bottom and there's like a case of water, and you're like, oh gosh darn it, I didn't pay for that. Do I go back into the store? That's where you have that moral dilemma, right? You go back in there. Okay, guys, I stole this first time round accidentally. Go through that song and dance, or do you just take it home in your car? Depends how honest you are. What's that initial thought? I've paid so much in profit to this big corporation. I deserve this thing of water. Plus, I gotta get home and make dinner. Laundry needs to be switched. I gotta go. And you just leave. F the case of water, right? So the problem, and it's a big one, is that many of the ways retailers fight theft make honest customers feel like criminals. That starts with small things like Walmart and Costco wholesale employees checking your receipts when you leave their stores. You know, that used to be upsetting to me when I went to Costco. The original Costco in Kirkland, you know, all those Kirkland products, you get the generic version of Costco, but literally there's a Costco in Kirkland. It's where it all started. It's where all the magic started happening. I don't think that was the very first one. It was the very first big one, I believe. But, you know, at the end of your shopping experience, there's a line of people and they kind of glance at your thing and just whoosh, and then, you know, check off, and you walk out and you're like, all right, what did they glanced at my cart, didn't have a lot in there. Your receipt tells them a lot of stuff, right? And if you don't have anything crazy, they're just going to kind of glance, whoosh, next on you go. But, you know, other stores are trying to stop this whole shoplifting thing. They're starting to check receipts. Yes, they do it to everyone, talking about people leaving the store with their carts of whatever, or their baskets, but it's still not a pleasant feeling for honest folks worried that they might have missed or improperly scanned an item at self-checkout. It gets uglier, however, when companies use sneakier techniques to cut down theft, specifically at self-checkout. In Walmart's case, the retailer has technology that allows a store associate to shut off a self-checkout. You know, you've got one person covering like 6 different lanes of the self-checkout, and they're always kind of like, oh, what everybody's doing. Well, they've got the ability to boop, hit that button, and your checkout kiosk just freezes up. The worker is not supposed to tell the customer that they're suspected of theft. Instead, the worker is to pretend that it's a technical problem. Hey, my scanner won't work anymore. Anybody? And then somebody comes over. It's kind of like when you buy an adult beverage and, you know, somebody has to come over and scan your ID. They should just have a button where they took one look at you and go, yep, that dude's old. Let's move them on. I had somebody, and I've told a bunch of people this. I had somebody in a comment, I think, of one of the videos. I just turned 55 a couple of weeks now on the 7th of November, whenever that was. Turned 55 on the 7th of November. And somebody said, They were quite a bit older, I believe. And they said 55 is the youth of old age. And that's kind of sat with me because it makes sense, right? I feel like I'm old, but relative to old age, I'm pretty young, but I'm no longer young, right? So I feel like somebody should have the ability. That dude is definitely over 21. Boop, hit the button, and I get to just, buy my 6-pack of Fremont Brewing Pilsner, whatever it might be. But that's a strategy. We're talking about shutting down your self-checkout ability. That's a strategy that inconveniences honest people and creates a gray area. Did the person steal a can of soup, or did they just not scan it? Did that guy steal the case of water, or was it an honest mistake? I never steal stuff because I don't feel good about myself if I steal stuff. Did I steal stuff as a kid to see if I could get away with it? Absolutely. Candy bars, whatnot. My mom always told me when we're in the grocery store, keep your hands out of your pockets because people will think you have stolen something and you put it in there. I always believed her and I always thought that makes sense. But if I did steal something, would I cover it up with my hands? Yeah, I don't know that in my, in my old age youth, I've come to question my mom on that one, but it makes sense, right? You get your hands in your pockets. Oh, nothing to see here. I got nothing. Nope, don't worry about me. Walmart workers in the self-checkout area are given devices called TC devices. It's according to a former Walmart employee's TikTok video. All right, we're getting more and more news on TikTok. I don't know if you have a TikTok account. Yeah, little tiny videos. Our attention span is now the size of that of a gnat, meaning, yeah, we've got no attention span. But so much that is out there is done in a short format, meaning less than a minute. And, what was that format? There was 6 seconds. Vine, I think, was the social media platform where people did 6-second videos. You can get a lot done in 6 seconds, but it's not exactly content that I want to consume. All right, let's see how many 6-second videos I can consume today. So those machines let the worker discreetly watch what people are buying at the self-checkout line. Never mind that some people use self-checkout because they're buying embarrassing items that they don't want a clerk to see. Walmart is spying on you looking for theft. Embarrassing items. All right. Personal products, maybe condoms, maybe a little lube, maybe some feminine hygiene products, although we're not supposed to say feminine because that is sexist. We're also not supposed to say hygiene. This is from the Port of Seattle Authority because they're installing tampons in the men's restroom right now. And no feminine or hygiene, can't have those words because hygiene indicates it might be dirty. Okay, whatever. All right. So embarrassing items. Really? No. We're able to see everything you're purchasing, how much your total purchase is and how much each item costs, the former employee shared. The TikTok personality who uses the name Obey Goddess. That sounds reasonable. I mean, is that your name? Showed that the TC device screen looks like, and it literally shows a sort of running receipt of a customer's purchases. If something appears out of the ordinary, the worker can hit the pause button, which freezes the machine. Then a manager can go over and evaluate the situation. All right. And this is being operated by an employee making how much dollars an hour? Minimum wage-ish. Maybe Walmart's paying a little bit more now, but you've got folks that are making decisions while you are purchasing items at the Walmart may not have the best judgment. That's all I'm saying, right? At best, that's an inconvenience when the customer is not shoplifting. At worst, it's a dangerous situation as the suspected thief can become hostile. Situation Walmart clerks and checkout personnel are not fully trained to handle. Situation down, where was that? Was it Sacramento? Yeah, I believe it was Sacramento, somewhere in California. It was chief of police in Sacramento. The, whatever store it was, wanted him to come out and arrest somebody. And it was Target, I believe. yeah, we need you to come out. We got a shoplifter doing some, shady stuff here, probably illegal, probably stealing some stuff, but we don't want the liability of you arresting them in the store. So could you walk them outside? Maybe do that whole arrest thing in the back? Yeah, it's not a good look for the other customers in the store. Hey, what's that guy doing over? That guy's getting his wrist put behind his back and he's getting some bracelets on by the police officers. Huh, interesting. It's not a good look. Plus, they don't want the whole situation where, security guard shoots a alleged thief. Got that happening. I mean, it's all these stores that are struggling with what to do with this rampant organized retail theft and straight up shoplifting from the drug addicts who are occupying our homeless encampments in so many of these cities. It's what's going on. Shoplifting is rampant. I had another podcast this morning, and it was on the fact of how tenants, it takes so long to get tenants out that haven't paid rent because the eviction processes are so backed up. And everybody knows that here in King County and a lot of other municipalities as well, the situation for evicting a tenant who hasn't paid for, years in often cases after the pandemic, the word has gotten out that is a situation and that is a thing. Hey, you can game the system by not paying rent. And guess what? It's going to take you at least a year to work through the court system to the point where the landlord can legally toss you for non-performance on your contract, which is your lease. So you've got a situation where people know and they can take advantage of that. And that is happening. People know when there's nobody that's really going to prevent them from shoplifting. Guess what happens? Shoplifting goes up. Crime increases, right? We just know that that's a thing. People take advantage of whatever loophole is out there. So that is happening on the regular with this type of situation. And so now honest folks like you and I, tax-paying citizens, are in a situation where, did you scan that, whatever item it was? Did you not? Your system's broken. So next time somebody says, there's a glitch in the system, let's just check through your checked out items here. You scan everything here? Oh, you did? Okay. All right. I don't even know what they would say, right? Because you're basically putting the employee in the position of being, all right, I didn't see you scan that one. I don't know. Let's talk about it. You're going to go through your cart and let's get out your receipt that isn't quite printed out yet. Let's go through all those items. And this can of beans, looks like you didn't. Did you forget this can of beans? That's what we're talking about here, right? It's pissing people off, rightfully so. You know what would solve this? Yeah. If you just had a store employee scan all this stuff. Bill Burr does a bit on, Bill Burr got in hot water the other day because his wife gave the double bird to President Trump at a UFC event. Whew, he got in hot water for that because it's his wife. He was looking at something totally different. And she's over there giving the finger to President Trump. Somebody caught a picture of it, just put it out there. But Bill Burr has a pretty funny comedian piece where he talks about, I'm not getting paid to check out the groceries. Why should I do it? It's like, well, yeah. But if you look at the lines where, the folks are having people check out their groceries, they're always way longer than the self-checkout. And that's by design, right? Because every employee you don't have, you're forcing consumers like you and I to go into a store and do it ourselves. It's worth the risk of a little bit of shoplifting to not have to pay that hourly wage to that employee to scan the groceries. Walmart policies raise tension. We've got issues in Wally World. If you're not stealing, self-checkout can still be stressful because it's easy to make a mistake. People who are stealing can use anger and indignation as a way out of being caught, since Walmart workers aren't specifically allowed to accuse them of theft. So we've got this whole weird situation. You got a glitch in the system. You're not able to scan. So what's the employee going to do? This has been led to an increase in hostile situations for the chain's workers, according to Business Insider. So even though the workers are trained to blame the machine and not the customer for items not being scanned, having to engage them at all creates raised tension. It's really uncomfortable and it becomes like a safety issue, one worker told the website. Workers are not given training or scripts to de-escalate tensions, according to the news article. Walmart does not share specific theft numbers, but CEO Doug McMillon did comment on shrink in an industry term for items that are stolen during the company's second quarter earnings call. Shrink is an important part of margin, he said. Shrink has increased a bit this year. It increased last year. It's uneven across the country. It's not in every market. Some markets are higher than others. Yeah, shockingly. More in the blue, less in the red. Interesting. How's that work out? Yeah, no, we've basically said, hey, it's a free-for-all. Do whatever you want. We're not going to prosecute under California is the best example with Proposition 47. We're not going to prosecute under $950. Steal to your heart's content. And that's literally what's gone on, right? There's nothing else in that article that's something new. It's CEO talk. So the next time you're at a store and you are going through checkout, this is one of those very real situations where you as the consumer don't really know, but recognize that the fact that, maybe they're thinking you're stealing something, that could be a reality. And what are you going to do? You're going to go through all your items? I don't know. I don't really know how this situation plays out in real life. I've never had this happen, but it doesn't surprise me at all. And there are so few Walmarts around in my area. There's only a couple of small stores, just not a lot of Walmarts. And that's the only retailer that I know. I did a little bit of research on this, and Costco was thrown out as another example, but Walmart, yeah. How about all those Walmarts closed down? And we've got Portland, Chicago, just a lack of Walmarts. All right, that's it for me on this one. So next time you're in the self-checkout and this happens to you, just be thinking of that. Did I steal something? Am I stealing something? Does it look like I'm stealing something? Just one more layer of annoyance, right? At the grocery store. Ugh. All right. Thanks again for being here. I'll catch up with you on the next one. Bye for now.